The legendary USMC weapon, the M2 Stinger. Oh, this is going to be great. By the Fat Electrician.
Today we're talking about that time in World War II when the Marine Corps decided they didn't like their standard issue machine gun. So they went ahead and built their own. Ladies and gentlemen, the M2 Stinger. Created from...
I don't think you can do that today. I feel like there's something that says that you can't do this anymore. But this is so on brand for everything I understand about the Marines, and I have absolute respect for it. You legends.
The parts of 3 other guns, this Franken-Gat weighs in at 25 pounds, not including the 100 rounds of ammunition hanging off the side of it. I'm trying to tell you this is a reasonable weapon for concealed carry. Speaking of concealed
Full-size Friday, baby.
carry, this video is brought to you by the United States Concealed Carry Association, where for only a few dollars a month you can get professional training, education, and in the unfortunate event you need it, legal help. Look, it's basically insurance for shooting bad guys, okay? Speaking of shooting bad guys, the M2 is capable of firing...
That was a smooth transition, actually. There's a reason the Fat Electrician has gotten so popular. He's really smooth with his transitions, and he knows what he's talking about. He's super fun to watch.
1,200 rounds per minute. That is 20 freedom seeds per second. And when I say freedom seed, we're talking about 30-06. That's one of the recommended rounds if you wanted to go hunting bears. And
I never understood how big 30-06 was until we watched a video recently, and I'm like, oh, that's big.
you're gonna fire 20 of them in a second. Look, if you upset the Marine holding this thing, you better hope your family's like Pepperidge Farm, because the only thing they're gonna be able to do is remember.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You're gonna be holier than the Pope, and the next text message you get's gonna be from a fucking Ouija board. So how did this monstrosity of a grunts and crafts project even become a thing? You see, it all started in 1943 during the Pacific Campaign. The Marine Corps didn't actually have a light machine gun. They were equipped with the Browning Model 1919, which is a great machine gun, but it's also very heavy. It required 2 men to carry it. One guy had to carry the gun and the ammunition, another guy had to carry the tripod and spare parts.
That almost looks like, I'm looking at the box mag on the side of that, that almost just looks like an ammo like one of the green ammo crates.
And then once a firefight did start, you had to mount the machine gun to the tripod, then get the ammo in it, then start returning fire, all while probably getting shot at from a fortified enemy machine gun position. It was definitely not ideal. Then the Marines would...
I feel like it's not necessarily because it's heavy. It's the fact that it takes too much time to get to the action. I feel that's why they made this, right?
come across a salvage yard with some airplanes in it. In those airplanes were the Browning Model 1919, but these were the aircraft variant that had almost double the fire rate. So Marines being Marines decided that they would strategically transfer that equipment to an alternate location.
They just tactically acquired it. Don't worry about it.
Once at that alternate location, they equipped it with the butt stock of an M1 Garand, a custom homemade trigger, the bipod of a BAR, and then mounted a 100-round ammo can directly on the side of it. This now had double the fire rate of their normal Model 1919 and could be carried by 1 man as opposed to 2.
More and more, I'm just like, if I actually did go into service, I'm too old now. I have way too many issues, right? God, the Marines just make so much sense to me. Is it a problem that the Marines make sense to me? I feel like this is a problem, but it's a wonderful problem to have.
All being loaded, meaning that if they were ambushed, he could start firing right away. It could be fired from the hip or from a prone position using the bipod. Now, only 6 of these were officially known to have been made and used in combat, but it's pretty well documented that they were extremely effective against the enemy. In conclusion, while only 6 of them were ever made, they will be remembered probably forever, not only because they're fucking cool, but they are a shining example of all the weird, irregular shit the Marine Corps will do to kill a motherfucker.
How much paperwork exists because of this? Like, obviously, OPSEC, obviously potentially classified information that I, as a civilian, have no right to have. How much paperwork exists because the Marines made this? I feel like there's paperwork that is going to stop... it's going to stop service members and branches from doing this again. Like, you can't just tactically acquire an aircraft firearm and slap this together. You can't do that. Well, why not? How much paperwork exists because of this? I would love to know, but also I probably will never know. But I delight in knowing that there's probably paperwork for this specific thing.
Because at the end of the day, the real weapon is the creativity and the ingenuity of the grunt. Seriously, the 2 most creative demographics on the planet, stoners that are trying to build a bong, and grunts that are trying to kill a motherfucker. Like, if Elon really wants to make it to Mars, all he has to do is tell the Marine Corps there's crayons and bad guys up there. The motherfuckers will be there by next week. They'll fucking walk there if they have to. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. We've got new designs every month. This month we've got the USS New Jersey and Freedom Fractions. So until next time, Quack Bang out.
I love his videos. He always has just such interesting things to talk about. And I as someone, I really don't know a lot of these things. So it's kind of interesting to hear. It's also a historical standpoint, right? It's not necessarily because it's a pew-pew. It's not necessarily because it's, you know, military. It's history. And you look at what was going on around 1943, specifically in the Pacific Theater, right? And, you know, what could have, you know, what events that lead to this, right? And it's interesting for multiple aspects for me. One, Fat Electrician could talk about cheese for 20 minutes and I would watch that. Because he would tell me so much about cheese, it's not even funny. Like, to the point it's damn impressive, actually. Which, if you haven't checked out the Fat Electrician yet, if you're somehow coming across this channel before checking him out, definitely go check him out. He puts out a lot of great work, and I really want to see him bypass 1 mil and even 2 mil subs. Like, he really deserves a lot of the hype, and he really deserves a lot of attention in the algorithm because he really does a lot of cool stuff. And it's from a military standpoint. You know, I have family that was in the military. Grandfather in World War II. Grandfather in, I believe it was Korea. I think he was a chaplain in Korea. However, it's like, so I've been like adjacent to it, and I've had, you know, one of my best friends who I've known for a decade was in the Cab Scouts, and I've never just really delved into it myself. So just a lot of interesting things, and obviously, you know, definitely observe OPSEC. You know, comment section, definitely check there. There's a lot of people that like to share their stories, drop cool facts as well. Sometimes even where they were stationed. Obviously, make sure you're observing OPSEC in all relevant capacities. I don't need some funny men in black walking up to your door. I don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, just be safe, all that fun stuff. And there are a lot of cool individuals that do come into the chat, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. I will say, however, please make sure to remain as apolitical as possible. If we're citing things historically, I really don't have anything against that. We just had an influx of people trying to discuss politics, and I just can't do it, unfortunately. That's not necessarily calling anyone out. Just, hey, just remember, be apolitical. We're here to have a good time. We're here to learn history, military things, and yeah, that's all I got for you today, though. What are your thoughts on this? Have you seen one in action? Have you seen one in a museum? How much paperwork exists because of this, if that's not classified? All that fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Definitely go check them out, and I'll see you in the next one.